everybody, and welcome back into the Media Tavern. If you like discussions about movies, TV, and music, you have come to the right place. I am your co-host, Eric. With me is the other co-host and producer, Todd Stanton. How you doing, buddy?
Very good. How are you? You know, I'm looking at us today, and you mentioned it earlier, off before we started recording. There's a lot of sun on both of us, and you thought maybe it was something with our cameras, and I was like, no, I think it's because we actually have sun out today.
Yeah, it's like it's something we haven't seen, that big fiery ball in the sky in the last, I don't know, month or whatever. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I had to bring my son and go, look, see what that is? That's called the sun. Yeah.
The mole people coming out of the ground out of our houses here.
And he's like 28, so, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely like a shock to the system. I'm hoping I'll get some vitamin E here.
Through the windows, yeah.
Through the window, yeah.
I don't think it's going to work that way, but that's a nice thought. How are you? How you doing today?
I'm good, man. You know, I'm enjoying, I know you're not a sports guy, but the NFL playoffs have been bonkers. My kid and I just hung out. Well, he had a bunch of stuff going on, but after he was done with his stuff, he played hockey and he had basketball and stuff. But after that, we just hung out and watched football all day yesterday, and it was amazing. The games were bananas. So that was fun. I'm looking forward to the rest. And watching movies, watching TV, listening to music. I got all sorts of takes and thoughts and ideas. How about you, buddy?
Well, this is something I haven't really mentioned before. And you could see some of it in the background for those people watching it online. I bought a new 3D printer, and it's super, super cool. It's super fast.
So, but for those of you who probably wouldn't know or don't know, Todd is a 3D printer enthusiast, and he has gone to the dark side of insanity with this thing. I love the stuff he's done. You can see in our video feed, but I can tell you that there's like a life-size Boba Fett action figure.
Well, that's right there. Yeah.
But you can't see it if you're just listening like you should be.
True.
This podcast.
Yeah.
But, and he's built an R2-D2. He built an Ark of the Covenant. All full-size, real things. So tell me what you got going on now, dude.
So it's a brand new printer that prints really, really fast. I mean, parts that it would take 6 hours will be done in an hour. I mean, me and another buddy bought the printer at the exact same time. It's called a Bamboo Carbon X1, or it's a Bamboo Labs X1 Carbon for all you nerds who enter the 3D.
No free ads, though. No free ads.
Yeah, no free ads. But I love it. I've got 5 different brands of printers, and this one I love so much. But yeah, it's really, really fast, and it's, I don't know, it's so cool. I'm excited about it. And it comes with like a camera. You can like watch it, you know, printing on your phone, not just because you're bored and you want to watch printing, but in case there's a problem, you can shut it off, you know, remotely. It's just super cool. And it's got multiple colors. So normally when you print, you can only print one color at a time. On this, you can print upwards of 16 different colors. Dude, it's
crazy
fun.
So what are you making, or is it a big trade secret?
Right now I'm not really making anything specific. I mean, I won't get into the details of the things that I'm selling, but I made this last night. This is the mask from The Mask.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
the kind of wooden tiki mask from the movie The Mask. That's
I'm
pretty
going to paint it, but
don't put it on because it may stick forever and you become scary.
Yeah. I tried it on last night. Nothing happened. But, so yeah, it's just a lot of fun. I've been having so much fun experimenting and playing with that. And it's just, me and my buddy were talking about like 3D printing is this side of teleportation.
I can see what you're getting at there.
I mean, so imagine 5 years down the road, you know, like when fax machines first came out on the, you know, in the 80s, where you'd fax something and on the other side, you'd have a copy of that document right now. That's what this will be like. You know, if you want a copy of this, Eric can go, hey, send that to me. I can go, okay, press a button, and you have it on your side automatically.
Yeah, it's super cool. And I mean, the idea of like some of the stuff that's actually functional, like people can, I mean, this is not the way to do this, but you can like make weapons. I mean, there's all sorts of crazy directions you can go with it.
Yeah.
Out of nothing, you know what I mean? Like out of imagination or plans or whatever.
Everything, I'm telling you, everything is out there. And it makes me think of, again, the future. Remember the scene in The Fifth Element, and they find just the hand of, you know, the special being or whatever, and then they print the rest of her out from her DNA. Just super cool. I don't think we'll be probably ever there, but who knows? I mean, just amazing stuff. So that's what I was doing this weekend.
Nice. That's super cool. All right. So real quick, I want to mention something. If people out there have any ideas, because that just gave me an idea of, you know, someday down the road, maybe we could do a Fifth Element pod. But if anyone out there has any ideas for us to do a movie or TV or any music we should spotlight that we forgot, things we should do, things you like, you can always email us at themediatavern@gmail.com. Also, you can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. And of course, we've got that mighty Facebook page. Go join, give it a like. You know, we're always out there kind of messing around on social media. So if you can find us and comment, let's have some fun with that.
Yeah, great. All that information will be up on the screen too. If you watch the YouTube version of this, you'll be able to...
You're wasting your time. It's a podcast, not a YouTube cast.
No, you're not, because
then you're just making
some guys are visual and they just don't want to hear voices. But I think everyone that's listened to us so far, it's only been the audio version. But you have a shirt underneath your jacket there. What is that?
Dude, I'm wearing the most underrated and the most, if you don't, like, tell me you're from Toledo without saying you're from Toledo thing. It is my mighty Rudy's Hot Dog
Rudy's
t-shirt.
Hot Dog. Yeah.
Rudy's Hot Dog, for those of you not in Toledo, Ohio, is a people think that Tony Packo's is the famous hot dog thing here in Toledo because of MASH and mud hens and stuff. And they are, but Rudy's Hot Dog is where it's at. If you're from Toledo, you really know it is the greasiest, most delightful hot dogs and disgusting fries and the best.
I love their fries.
Disgusting in the best way possible.
I love their fries. I really do.
Everything about their place is great. When I was a kid, my dad and mom were divorced when I was super little, and on Sundays I'd hang out with my dad, and he would always take me to Rudy's Hot Dog. He'd buy a pitcher of beer. He'd buy me a bunch of hot dogs, and I would just play music in the jukebox all day and stuff. It was super great. And hang out and play video games. It was like fun. And the building, the place I went to is still there, so it's great.
We literally have a Rudy's Hot Dog just down the street from us, from our house here. So
yeah, they're all over, man. But anyway, so I see you have your shirt. Tell me what's going on there with that one. Please explain for the people.
Cinco de Mayo on this. I get one every year because at this particular restaurant, I'm considered the part owner, even though I'm not really.
Yeah, which is why we go there all the time.
I used to live right around the corner from there when we lived at our other house, and we would walk down there, like, I'm not joking, 3 times a week. There was actually one day I ate there 3 times in one day. But the name of the place is, might turn around for all you video crowd.
Yeah, it's a place called El Salto.
Yes. And it originated in Valparaiso, Indiana. And then they came over here. There's like 2 locations in Toledo. The only one that's good is the one in Maumee. Sorry, Sylvania. And now there's like 5 of them.
People don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. There's like 5 of them in Indiana now. You can actually go down like the Turnpike or 80, go down 80. And there's actually billboards. It's so weird to see a billboard for this little kind of restaurant. So anyways, that's, it's one of my favorite restaurants here in Toledo.
Cool. All right. Well, speaking of restaurants, the reason that we are even talking about food this early in the morning is because today's kind of central topic is going to be a recent movie called The Menu.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, for those of you watching, for Todd, actually, when he's watching this at home later, because he's going to be the one person watching. I
need to entertain myself. Yeah.
I'm gonna get into my restaurant mode here.
Look at that.
The background is now a fancy restaurant.
Look at that. Where is that? It looks.
I don't know. I just grabbed a random thing, but it looks like
Italy
like
or something. I mean,
beautiful. So you and I both watched the movie The Menu.
Yep.
It was in theaters and then ended up on HBO Max recently. I think just around, I don't know, maybe a month ago or so.
Yeah.
And so you and I both have had a chance to watch it. I guess I could ask you what you think, but would you like me to go through kind of a quick overhaul of the movie? Do you want to talk about your initial thoughts? What do you think?
Well, I will say this is one of the other trailers that I saw when I was in the theater when I saw Nope. It was The Menu and Barbarian were the two movies that really stuck out in the. It seems like there's an ungodly amount of trailers anymore when you go see a movie at a theater, which I love trailers, but if they're sucky trailers, you know, that's hard to get through. But The Menu and Barbarian were the two that caught my eye. As you know, we both love Barbarian. The Menu, I only have one word review. Are you ready?
Is this like the Spinal Tap shark sandwich? Like 1-2 word review, shit sandwich?
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Dumb. I just thought it was dumb. Everything about it was dumb. Now, I know you're probably going to tell me there's some deep meaning behind everything. One of the things that I hate, and I mentioned it on another podcast, is I don't like movies that have to be explained externally. It just bugs me. I don't mind doing it. I'll go and watch what someone's explanation is of it, but I don't think it's a very well executed movie if it needs external explaining. So maybe you feel differently on that, but
well, I would counter with perhaps it's you that's broken and not the movie itself.
I could be the dumb one.
Just
I mean, it's not. I will be the first. I thought it was dumb. I'll give you another word: pretentious. I felt like it was a little.
Okay.
It was a little like too much into thinking this is deep and this means something and all that. It's supposed to be a comedy too, and I didn't think it was funny at all.
All right. Okay. Well, I think that's kind of the crux of the movie itself is about pretension in a way, and about kind of like class warfare. You know, class disparity.
Yeah.
So let me run through the movie. So those of you listening, if you haven't seen The Menu and you don't want to have it spoiled, please skip ahead
There's nothing to spoil.
Please skip ahead about half an hour, whatever. And but if you don't care or you've seen it, let's go.
Yeah.
So The Menu is directed by Mark Mylod, who he directed some great episodes of Succession, one of my favorite shows probably ever. Game of Thrones, another one of my favorite shows probably ever. He did some Shameless episodes. He's like all across the board, great kind of artist. It stars Ralph Fiennes as Chef Slowick and Anna Taylor-Joy as a character named Margot. Nicholas Hoult, you may remember from the X-Men and a couple other things. About a Boy, his name is, that's another thing he was in, plays the character Tyler. The great Janet McTeer, who was one of the best characters in Ozark, played Helen Pierce in Ozark. She's in this. And John Leguizamo as kind of a sun-setting movie actor.
Yeah, good cast. Great cast.
And then Hong Chow, who was Lady True in the Damon Lindelof Watchmen, which I totally loved, and she was great in that. Almost unrecognizable in this part. As Elsa, the kind of second in command. So the plot goes like this, pretty much in a nutshell. There is a famous restaurant. There's a group of people, different groups of people get called. They pay an exorbitant amount of money to go to this special dining event on this remote island by Chef Slowick, which is Ralph Fiennes. And the place is called Hawthorne, and it's like a super fancy, secluded island resort dinner, and they're paying for this amazing quote unquote experience. So the groups go, they arrive in this airplane, they get there, and they all kind of check in, and Hong Chow is there as Elsa is there as kind of like checking people in, and they're like, welcome, welcome, okay, we expected you, and they know kind of a lot about the backgrounds of the people. It's kind of weird. And when the Nicholas Hoult character gets there, he's supposed to have his wife with him, but instead he has Anna Taylor-Joy, who is not his wife, and that sends off a red flag to, we don't know why at this point, a red flag to the check-in people.
Yeah, it makes it awkward.
So that's kind of something.
Makes it awkward. Yeah.
Note to self, right? And Anna Taylor-Joy kind of playing Anna Taylor-Joy as Anna Taylor-Joy, where she's just sort of like whatever. okay, this place seems kind of snotty. And so they go to the restaurant, and there's like an army of chefs behind the thing, and this is beautiful kind of open concept restaurant where Chef Slowick is like kind of introducing the whole idea of the meal to them, and it's a series of courses that get kind of more and more progressively explanative of the kind of end game of this dinner. So things kind of like start out innocently enough with like one kind of a basic, intro meal course, and then slowly but surely things kind of get more and more strange, and you can kind of tell that the chef has sort of a disdain for each table. We've got like the sunsetting kind of retiring over the hill movie star. We've got the restaurant reviewer. We've got the like incredible brown nosing food fan and Slowick fan with the Tyler character. And then we've got there's like a table of an older couple, and they all kind of like start getting more and more progressively uncomfortable as the meals go.
There's going to be a test at the end of this review so you can remember who is who.
Yeah. So basically, like his mom, like the chef's mom, is sitting there in the corner, and it gets kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then the first meal that kind of sets things off is it's the third course, which is chicken tacos with scissors in it. And people are like, oh, that's amazing. And then he kind of goes into this horrible story about his childhood and everything else. And then the next people start getting more and more freaked out, but they can't really leave because the army of chefs has kind of locked them into the restaurant, and there seems to be kind of like some blackmail going on. So eventually we get to a course called The Mess. And The Mess involves one of the sous chefs to come in. He basically gets dressed down in front of the whole crowd. They lay out a tarp, and then this chef blows his brains out. And they kind of incorporate that into the meal, and people start screaming and thinking it's either fake or not. And then the meals get progressively more and more freaked out, and beyond that even. And it comes to pass that we realize that Anna Taylor-Joy is not supposed to be there. She is a call girl, I guess I'll say, who Tyler had brought. And it comes to light that Tyler actually knew this whole thing was going to happen, didn't bring his wife because he didn't want her to die. He brought this poor stranger with him, who she kind of finds out that she's been played and is there in basically this kind of death trap. And so Anna Taylor-Joy, in her cunning Anna Taylor-Joyness, sort of figures out that the chef has brought all these people together, and he sort of discusses this in his meals, that he's brought these people together because they have all sort of torn down the joy and the structure of eating and preparing food and the humanity of it. And each one of them is singularly responsible for different reasons why his joy of cooking and the cooking world in general has turned into this like pompous, presentery thing, as opposed to the meat and potatoes, quite literally, life experience that he thinks it should be. The restaurant reviewer has kind of forced the closing of some restaurants with bad, pointless reviews. The one guy was like kind of like a money guy and took some of the money away from a place. And Tyler, it turns out, is sort of a kind of a way over the top, kind of like groupie butt kisser guy. And Anna Taylor-Joy figures out, okay, this chef guy is crazy, but he really just wants to enjoy the food. So she orders a cheeseburger. And he realizes that she's not supposed to be there, that she's just a regular human who hasn't done anything to mess up the food industry, makes her this cheeseburger. She asks for it to go in a doggy bag because she knows she's got to get the hell out of there. He says, please do. Enjoy your meal. She leaves. And with the final meal, which is a ridiculous meal of the the s'mores, where Todd's holding up a dumb sign, where all the remaining people that are in the restaurant get dressed with a robe of marshmallows and a hat of chocolate, which is lit on fire, and they're all on fire, and the whole place is going down. And Anna Taylor-Joy hoofs it out of there, and she one more thing happens before this. Tyler gets taken to the mat and called out before the thing, and he's asked to, go ahead, cook for us then, Mr. I'm a fan of everything you do, and so he goes into Hawthorne's kitchen, totally boofs the ball, makes like this raw lamb meal, and essentially gets driven to suicide where he hangs himself. Forgot to mention that thing. So
this is just dumb.
So eventually Hawthorne catches on fire, and Anna Taylor-Joy grabs the boat that they came in on, takes off down, and watches the whole place burn and explode while enjoying her cheeseburger. And I believe that is the end of the movie. And congratulations, it's been spoiled for you if you weren't aware of it.
It's not.
But that is kind of in a very large coconut shell, the breakdown of the movie, the menu. And without saying just the word dumb, tell me more about your thoughts about this movie.
Hearing you go through it again just made me relive what I hated about them. It's just like everyone, especially the ending when they're all wearing those stupid s'mores marshmallow things on their head or whatever. And it's just like, but they're just okay with dying. They know they're going to die. I mean, like no one is like, it just doesn't feel real at all. I just don't get it. If this movie is like filled with some kind of like laced with all kinds of symbolic meaning and all that, it's stupid. I'm sorry. It's stupid. There's no way that this movie, I know you looked up some explanations on what this is. Yeah, because it's not very clear.
Well, I didn't really have to look it up as much as I wanted to kind of I understood the whole point. I just wanted to kind of verbalize it.
What was the whole point?
Well, the idea is that there's a class war and that there's like a food, like not just the food service industry, but that people are not enjoying life in the way that they should. They're enjoying life for the wrong reasons. And this is just kind of an extreme reaction to that.
And so you kill people. Like, I just don't get like the logic. Ralph Fiennes, I mean, great actor to be playing in this stupid movie. I mean, I thought he was one of the best things about this movie. I thought his performance was amazing. I liked Anna Taylor-Joy. I thought she was the most intriguing character. She was the most believable character, let's just say. Maybe that's why I liked her. Plus, she's easy to look at, so there's that too. But I just don't understand, like, the logic behind this. Like, this guy is going to kill everybody in the room, but there was the one couple that had been there several times, so that never happened before. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just not buying the logic of
I don't know
movie.
that it's supposed to be like a documentary. Like, I don't think it's
I know I'm not that dumb, Nine.
I'm not saying what I'm saying is I don't think it's supposed to be hyper real. I think it's supposed to be very surreal, actually.
I didn't know. No. You're trying to.
I mean, I'm not caping up for this movie. I didn't really think it was. I found it pretentious.
I mean, you're describing it, but what did you like this movie?
So I thought I liked parts of it and I liked ideas of it, but I found it to be super pretentious. But that's okay. I don't mind pretentious. There's plenty of stuff that's pretentious that I like, but I have two things that I kind of bumped up against. One is, I thought Ralph Fiennes was great. He just has this ability to play crazy people that are about to blow, but have something going on below the surface that's like different. I don't know what it is about him.
I agree with you. I just think
he's
it in this
like
one.
Way underrated as an actor. I think he's like kind of on the bubble of character actor and leading man. He's never really found one or the other almost since maybe like The English Patient. But I don't know.
Schindler's List.
Yeah, and Schindler's List, of course.
Great.
What a amazing feat of filmmaking.
Yep.
I think he's got that here. But here's the thing that I'm super unpopular opinion. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I don't think Anna Taylor-Joy is a good actor. I don't think she's a good actor. I enjoyed the Queen's Gambit. I thought that was very good. I loved it. As a matter of fact,
bored of it.
But I just
pretty
think
quick.
that she looks like she's reading a script all the time. Like
Should be.
she doesn't feel like she is. I don't know. Like even when she's in like Peaky Blinders and stuff like that, I just feel like she's always
Split.
getting
I liked
lapped
her in
by every other
Split.
actor.
I liked her in Split.
Fine. I just think that she always gets destroyed by every other actor. And here's the other thing.
Right.
I've heard tons of reviews with her. She's
Yeah.
a lovely human. She's super cool. She's
Yeah.
really excited about what she's doing and very nice and like seems like a great person to chill with. But like I just don't think she's that good. And I think in this you just sort of see the acting wheels turning
But I
too
don't
much.
think you're being fair with her in this one because she's playing the straight person among all the oddballs. You know, I mean, they're clearly over the top written characters, and she's the only one, in my opinion, that you could relate to because it's like, I mean, even though she's a hooker or whatever word you want to use, she seemed to be the most like level-headed person in the room. I don't even think I have to even say seems. She was the most level-headed person
Well, yeah.
in
And
this world
and
of
you,
kooks.
and you could see that in the movie that that the chef, he instantly could tell that she was like a regular person and not like a elitist shithead like the rest of the people. So I think that was kind of like the whole crux of the movie is that, you know, there's like the haves and the have-nots, and the have-nots kind of get so stomped on by the haves that the haves almost forget about the have-nots at all.
I just didn't think so. I mean, on that topic, I just didn't think that the haves, even though they were written in a way to be, you know, real above everyone else, I just didn't feel like they were at the same time too. Like I know they were playing these people who, you know, had means, and you know, obviously it costs a lot of money to do, you know, this thing. But I just didn't feel like they were. I don't know. This movie is so dumb. I'm having trouble trying to put it into.
Well, you mentioned that, so let's figure out another.
No,
adjective.
I can't think of another word. It's just, I didn't buy this movie at all. Not 1 second.
I think it's definitely a movie that you have to buy into to enjoy. Like if you're like, take me on a ride, let's go, then you can dig it. But if you're like, this is stupid.
I actually, you know what? I thought this movie was going to be, so maybe part of it is that I didn't think it was going to be a whole movie about them sitting at a table and I'm not anyone listening here. The movie is literally people sitting at a table and they're being served this 5 or 6 course meal. I mean, they really don't go anywhere. There's a scene where they do break out at one point, but then they're back in this dining room setting. I mean, I thought this thing was going to become like, I don't know, like the lights shut off and then everyone's kind of running around as there's a murderer in the house. I thought it was going to be something more thrilling.
Something dumber.
What's that?
Something dumber.
Maybe, but you know, so I didn't have to like keep track. They have chapters of what the different course meals are, and like, I was dumb. Here, I'm putting my sign back up. Dumb.
Okay, so here's my thing with the movie that like overall, and I found this to be true with several movies I've seen over the last 10 years. When I come out of a movie and I'm like, nope, that wasn't for me, but I keep thinking about it, that kind of rings a bell to me that I didn't necessarily like it, but that there was something in it that was of value somewhere. And certain movies I think of all the time that are great, you know, like, oh, I was thinking about Close Encounters. What a great idea of humanity.
Sixth Sense.
But I mean, like movies that like I kind of brushed off, but then they still kind of grind through my mind a little bit. And this one kind of stuck with me a little bit. Doesn't mean I liked it that much. I thought it was okay, but it has something a little more valuable than just kind of fluff, I guess.
No, totally disagree. This is where this is Siskel and Ebert, where they are.
Well, I'm not like saying like again. I'm not caping up for this thing. Like you're a moron if you don't love this. I
mean, I understand what you're saying about when you watch a movie and you like put it on repeat in your head. Like I will say, first time I saw Fight Club back in the day, I didn't see it in the theater. I saw it as a rental, and I saw it by myself. And I think there's something about sharing a movie with somebody. You come away with a different reaction versus when you see it with just by yourself. Like you don't bounce your reaction to scenes off of anybody when you're by yourself. But I saw that movie and I was just like, I don't know if I like the movie. But now it's one of my all-time favorite movies. I've seen it on repeat a million times. I love everything about it. I love the symbolism even in that film. I just think it's a very good film. But this is nowhere near that. This will never be that.
You're saying you need more shirtless Tyler Durden in this. You'd be feeling a lot better.
Is? Yeah. Yeah.
You need a little more beefcake in this would have really done well for you.
That's the first thing I'm thinking of. So, no.
Well, all right. So let's kind of wrap that up there. I think we've sort of, beaten this menu to death.
Yeah. Yeah.
And kind of got the, I'm not going to give people a yes or no because I think you have to figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
Todd's a pretty hardcore no on this.
This is the first movie I'm giving an actual rating on. Dumb. Like,
I don't know if is that a real rating?
It's a rating. It's a
like smart would be
I'm
another
gonna keep
one.
this on my desk, so I'll just pull it out if a movie ever comes close. So,
all right. Well, that does it for the movie portion of our menu. Yeah. See, you like that?
Nice. You're welcome.
Welcome, nice. America.
Keeping with the food theme.
You're welcome. You're welcome, America. You're welcome. So, all right. So I'm going to hop on my corner real quick here, Todd. All right. So on my corner today, my friend, I have some housekeeping to take care of.
Whoa.
And that is that a lot of times when we finish a pod, I'll text you or call you and be like, I forgot to talk about blah, blah, blah.
My phone's blowing up. Like, whoa, dude, we control the show. You can do whatever you want.
So I'm going to do a little bit of house cleaning, a little housekeeping on some of the things we've done in the past. Now, if you're listening to this inaccurately and you're not listening to it in the order of release, this might not make any damn sense to you, but
I think it will.
If you have, that's okay.
Yeah.
So the first thing I want to mention is that a couple episodes ago, I talked about one of my favorite shows I'd seen in a long time, which was SAS Rogue Heroes.
And it's on
Epix.
Epix.
And kind of a co-pro with the BBC. And it's about the formation of the SAS back in World War II when they're protecting the Suez Canal from the Nazis and the Italians and basically salvaging the Nazis taking over Africa and ergo taking over everything. And
that's the whole thing on it a couple podcasts earlier. So
yes. So, just kind of that's where I'm coming from here. But I mentioned how it was very Quentin Tarantino-esque the way it was done with the graphics and the way that the editing was done. But one thing I wanted to mention about this show, and it's dumb that I didn't, is the music that they use in this show, because it does that thing that a lot of Tarantino stuff does, or that certain things do, like, and the guys who did this also created Peaky Blinders, speaking of Peaky Blinders, which they do this a lot, where they use anachronous music with a period piece. So, for example,
like Scorsese. Scorsese does a lot of that, too.
Sure, yep, that's a great example right there, too. And so, like, for example, in Peaky Blinders, they use, like, Red Right Hand by Nick Cave is the theme song for a show that takes place 100 years ago. So, so in this, not only is it a great story, but they basically have rated my record collection for the music in this show. They use AC/DC when they're like blasting through the deserts. They use a band called Saxon, who I love. They use Johnny Thunders, like all sorts of like great, crazy. I think the MC5 is in there, and it's just like great, thrown up against these like visuals of World War II Africa and dusty old Jeeps flying around and blowing stuff up.
Like the music they would have listened to back then, if that music existed.
That's a great idea. If they had the chance to go ahead in time, they would use the time machine to listen to badass like AC/DC records. So, which tip of the hat, I say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was one thing I wanted to mention, was the music that they use in that, being that we're also a music-friendly space here, is so awesome the way that it collages together. Sometimes people don't like that, and it sort of takes them out of stuff. I dig it if it's done well. I think if it's just done hodgepodge, it can be stupid. But I think they did a super great job with this, and it kind of washes over you when, it works correctly. So another thing I wanted to touch base on that you and I had talked about, and this is another thing I wanted to mention during our Top Gun Maverick podcast, was one of the things that goes with that movie, the runaway Tom Cruise hit. One of the things that kind of was like the internet was buzzing about was the theory that in Top Gun, when he hits Mach 10 in this really critical scene, that in the universe of the movie, Maverick actually dies, and that the rest of that movie and this movie are kind of a like dream sequence, or like a not, it make me like a surreal, not actual thing. And that is sort of like him, fantasizing about this or what could be kind of thing. So did you ever listen to that theory?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was interesting. And I kind of dug it. I mean, because it
kind of makes you think, right?
Well, it made the scenes that did seem a little unbelievable, believable now, like, okay, that would make sense. And express, I guess that's it. Just the things that just didn't really make a whole lot of sense, or, oh, isn't that convenient? Now makes sense if you apply that theory to it.
Yeah. So. And I don't know if I 100% buy it, but I love the thought of it.
Well, the guy said if they make a Top Gun 3, then it just throws that whole theory out here. So
unless it's Miles Teller, well, then he wouldn't have been born because he was all a dream. So think about that.
Yeah.
So it kind of reminded me of like when there was the whole thing about like Dark Side of the Moon and with the Wizard of Oz, and like you never thought about that until then someone's like, oh, but you play them together, and this whole it was intended, and like I kind of got that vibe from it. But
I did it. Did you ever do that?
Oh yeah, I used to work at a record store, and we would, we were bored because it was at a mall. There used to be record stores, and they used to be in malls.
Yeah.
And malls are a place where there's a bunch of, for those of you listening under the age of 25.
I could flash up an image of a mall.
And we used to do that all the time. We would play Dark Side and show
Wizard of
Oz on a loop.
You can actually go on YouTube. It's all over the place now. So
this is like way before you could just call up cool things like that.
I'm glad you fixed up your mess there, because
I feel like how you're like my guy, you're like my psychiatrist. I'm like, oh, I forgot, I'm such a failure.
Calm down, you can do it. We run the show. We can have a special segment.
So that does it for me. How's life over there in your corner, my friend?
I think I'm going to circle back on my theme of movies hardly anyone's heard about. And
I like this one. I think this is a good thing.
This particular one, though, I think may have been known by more people, but they must have just overlooked it. It came out in 2017. It was called A Ghost Story, and it starred Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara, which, those are two pretty big names. I think even back then they were pretty decent names in 2017. They've gone on and done all kinds of things. But this movie is rather odd. It's not a scary movie. First of all, it's an A24 production, which I personally love 90% of A24 production.
I'm with you. Me too. And also just to mention too that the director David Lowery also did a great movie, I think, recently called The Green Knight. Kind of a weird thing, but it's really good. So.
Oh yeah, I never saw it. That was good.
I loved it, but it's very imagine it's like King Arthur, but super on acid, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Really good.
And I saw the ad for it back in the day, but yeah, this movie's considered a drama, fantasy, romance kind of thing. There's very few lines of dialogue in it. It starts off with, Casey and Rooney. They must be a newly married couple. I haven't seen it in a while. And actually they don't even have real names. They they are referred to as C and M, like they have like their names don't even exist. And everything seems really good. They're moving into this new house, and then there's this really long shot of, you hear a car horn going off, and this camera goes from the house really slow past the end of the driveway, and something happened. I can't remember, but there's an accident that happens, and Casey is just, his head against the steering wheel, he's dead. I mean, we just meet this couple, and he's dead. And there's no dialogue to this. There's no like funeral scene and all that. I think there's a quick scene of Rooney is in a morgue, and they pull back, the morgue guy pulls back the sheet, and she's just staring at him. That's it. That's all we deal with, the death part. And now the rest of the movie is her trying to cope with, the love of her life gone. But there is a guy in a sheet. We assume it's Casey Affleck, but we don't even know. He's under the sheet with 2 holes for his eyes, like the most cliche looking, ghost costume you've ever seen in cartoons or, Halloween costumes or whatever. And he's just standing there the whole time in every scene with Rooney. She's watching TV. He's just standing there.
Does she see him? Does she not see him?
No, she doesn't see him. That's supposed to be like some, afterlife spirit, materialization of sorts.
Manifestation.
Manifestation. Yeah. Thank you. Of sorts, standing there in the room. And it's awkward and sweet and fascinating all at the same time. We're seeing her just, there's these really long shots. This is no joke. I think it's 5 minutes long. There is a 5-minute shot of her eating a pie. Someone brings a pie over to the house, as a gift, because of what she's gone through. Again, no words. This pie is there, and she sits down on the kitchen floor, and the ghost is standing there in the back of the room, and she's eating this pie. It's 5 minutes. She eats the whole pie, and it's awkward and weird, and you're wondering, like, are they going to cut away anything? And what am I watching? But it's a very sweet movie. I'm telling you, it doesn't sound like it from my explanation here.
I think you've done a great job. I think that sounds great.
And then at the end, it goes into this really strange direction. It's very small. I don't even want to allude to it, but I love it. And as I'm saying it right now, I need to watch it again. Actually, I don't think my wife has ever seen it, so I'd like to put her through the agony of this film. It really does, I think, if anything, it really does make you think about loss. I've had a friend just recently, he lost his sister suddenly to a heart attack. He's my age, and if you've ever experienced loss of a family member, I'm not necessarily saying a friend, even though that's obviously traumatic too, but a close family member, all of a sudden you have this giant hole in your life, and you're seeing that played out really well in this film. You're seeing this woman dealing with this giant hole, and she's not pining for him. She's not off in a corner crying. There are those scenes, but she's just trying to get through life and trying to, figure out how to move on. And he either represents her longing for him, or he, it's, that he is in another dimension, just kind of, watching her. He wishes he could connect. One of the things too is I don't think he can leave the house too. He's like kind of confined to this. So when she goes, he's stuck in the house. You see him looking through the window. And again, if it's Casey Affleck, I feel so bad, not bad for him, but it's like, dude, you're a big star, and they get a little, like self-indulgent on how they look on screen and everything, and he's under a sheet the whole time.
Well, yeah, or he could just be, like the Mandalorian, and every scene except for 5 seconds, they could have an extra.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah, it's a very good movie. So if it does require a little bit of patience to watch. It's not a popcorn movie. It's nothing, if you go from watching The Avengers and then come to this, you're going to be bored of this. But it's a very sweet film, and I would recommend it to anyone that just wants a quiet night at home.
All right, cool, man. Well, that is a great pick. That is an excellent choice. I think that was a good idea to throw that one in there. Well, buddy, we did it again. I think we accomplished, mission accomplished. One more time.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah. Let's high five. The people can, yeah. All right, well, that does it for us here at the Media Tavern. Thanks, Todd, as always, for joining me. And, this has been great. Thanks for producing all this stuff. You're great. You do a good job, buddy. That's all I can say.
I just cut. Well, I cut all the crap out. So what you're hearing is the best of what we did.
So that's pretty sad. But all right. Well, for Todd Stanton, I am Eric Oblander. Thank you so much for joining us. As for now, the Media Tavern is closed.
See you later.